So our people are now at risk, and we need to call Zakayo to order and expose him for what he's trying to do, not just to Kenyans, but all our African brothers who have gone to conquer that continent. Because I do believe that those Africans who've gone to the continent, in as much as they've been forced by circumstances to go to Europe because of the failed leadership in the continent, they have a right to be there if they took themselves there voluntarily. Just the same way the Europeans came here and extracted our minerals and raw materials, those Africans in Europe have a right to also extract whatever resources they can find in that continent as part of the reparations that Europe owes Africa for colonialism. You know, for the last 5 days, they've been sending vehicles, these vehicles that have jammers to Mr. Wanjigi's residence in Muthaiga. And they park them at the gate, inconveniencing the neighbors and even the family members. It's part of intimidation and harassment. In fact, interesting to note is that right opposite Jimmy Wanjigi's residence is the residence of the Tanzanian High Commissioner. So even that residence is affected. Barely 100 meters away is the US ambassador.
Which place is this? Is that Muthaiga?
This is Muthaiga Road.
I know there is the US embassy. I mean, the US
embassy is around 100 meters away. Yes,
100 meters away.
Yes, but that their jammer, it covers approximately 50 to 60 meters from where the vehicle is stopped. So the US ambassador's residence is not affected, but definitely the Tanzanian ambassador's residence is affected. And all other neighbors within the 50-meter radius are affected by that. And we do believe this is just part of the state trying to intimidate and to harass Jimmy and his family from the civic education that he's been doing. But one thing I must say is that Jimmy is not deterred. He's not scared of those tactics. The people have decided that they don't have any trust in Zakayo and must go. There's nothing he will do. He will abduct Bob. He will abduct the Longton brothers. And it's interesting that Bob Njage was with me at Kamukunji on the night when the night he was abducted. He had come to show solidarity with Jimmy Wanjigi when he was taken to Kamukunji police station. And he did mention to me that the Longton brothers had just been abducted that day. And he was actually concerned about his own safety. And we actually said we needed to go to the OCS in Kamukunji to report to give him security. But the OCS was out of the station. Bob decided to just go home. Unfortunately, never got home that night. He was arrested. He was abducted before he got home. And to date, we've not been able to trace where they are holding him. But I do believe that what they're trying to do is by abducting Bob and the Longton brothers, there's a feeling that they were central in organizing the resist movement in Kitengela. And the intention is to try to demoralize the young people who are coming out to advocate for good governance in this country. If you take Bob, you take the Longton brothers. The intention, I believe, is just to try to distract the followings that Bob and the Longton brothers had managed to amass in Kitengela and across the country. And in a way to demoralize the young people and the new Kenyans. I call us the new Kenyans, who wants to see positive change in this country so that we lose hope and we lose focus. I just want to also add, I was talking to a gentleman from Germany today who was telling me that Kenyans are very angry in Germany, and Africans generally are very angry with Ruto and to an extent with Kenyans. And they are saying that Zakayo went to Germany to advertise to the German people. What number one was not agreed, but number two is bringing this issue of immigration into that country, and it's a very emotive issue in Europe at the moment, the issue of immigrants. And what he has done now, he has even put our fellow Kenyans who are already in Germany at risk of being deported. Even those who are legal in that country doing formal jobs for which they qualify. Now there's a wave of anti-immigration in Europe that now with this stupid move is exposing our people to deportation. And there's even a feeling that he's actually trying to do what the Brits were trying to do with Rwanda, in a way, to turn Kenya into an asylum country for those who are going to be deported from Germany to come into Kenya. But we must call him out. All these things that he's doing are not for the benefit, it's not in the best interest of the nation. He is doing things that are for his own best interest. Kenyans have been going to Europe over the years and they go on their own. There's been never any government involvement. If you qualify, there's a job, you apply and you do it. But when he's bringing government here, we must ask what's the motive. Why he's trying to bring himself into the center of this development. And it seems that it boils down to undermining the continued presence of those Kenyans in Germany who've gone there through their own means. And those who've managed to be there and are working, expose their papers. Those who are working, you are using as a political tool to whip up the anti-immigration political parties. So our people are now at risk. And we need to call Zakayo to order and expose him for what he's trying to do, not just to Kenyans, but all our African brothers who have gone to conquer that continent. Because I do believe that those Africans who've gone to the continent, in as much as they've been forced by circumstances to go to Europe because of the failed leadership in the continent, they have a right to be there if they took themselves there voluntarily. Just the same way the Europeans came here and extracted our minerals and raw materials, those Africans in Europe have a right to also extract whatever resources they can find in that continent as part of the reparations that Europe owes Africa for colonialism. Thank you very much.
Right. Let me hold you there. Yeah, let me hold you there. I know you'll come back, and there is something that you advocates need to start doing to hold individual police officer accountable. You know, most of these police officers hide behind government. So they do things behind government, knowing that the government is going to protect them. But it is high time we begin holding each person who is breaking the law individually. They can sit in those. I'm shocked to hear that our acting IG has been sentenced to 6 months. I'm really shocked. How does that happen? Surely. I'm shocked. So my advice to him, if he's listening, I don't know if he's listening, is go and serve your 6-month sentence. Go there for 2 weeks, come back, beg leniency from the courts, and then produce these fellows. Because that thing will hang on your neck for as long as you are living. And you are my lawyer like me. I don't want to hear that my lawyer has something hanging on his neck, even at his old age. Bwana Masengeli, if it is true that you've been sentenced to 6 months, just go and serve your sentence. The people you are hiding behind will throw you under the bus when time comes. Wataona, hey, siasa imekuwa moto. They will throw you under the bus and they will leave you to carry your own cross. So my prayer to advocates like you, Willie, Njiru, and the rest, I am requesting you. I don't know if I'm audible. I am requesting you.
Can hear you.
Yeah, I'm requesting you. It is high time these officers be held responsible individually. Yani wewe ubebe msalaba yako. Usiseme nilikuwa nafanyia serikali kazi, ama nilikuwa nafanyia deputy president, ama president, nilitumwa. Hakuna. Uko na akili, you are an adult. If something is wrong, say I'm not doing it. Nobody died for resigning or refusing. Say mimi staki, I cannot do that, because hii kitu msalaba will hang on you, then hang on your children.